Hello, Mr. Trump. I'm an ordinary girl from Greenland.
This is just one of many Greenlanders mocking Donald Trump and vowing not to give up her land.
I will fight you to the death, you mother.
The video got millions of views.
Hello, Mr. Trump. I'm an ordinary dude from Denmark. I will fight you to the death, you hear me?
US President Donald Trump says he'll get the Arctic island of 57,000 inhabitants, one way or another. He suggested purchasing Greenland during his first term as president. Now he's ruling out a military takeover, but not giving up entirely his plans over this semi-autonomous territory of Denmark, a close ally.
It's the United States alone that can protect this giant mass of land, this giant piece of ice, develop it and improve it.
So why does Trump want Greenland? And can Europe prevent the takeover? Let's delve into this and look for answers.
Whether they like it or not.
Grønland vil ikke ejes af USA.
Of course we are not for sale.
I want Greenland for security. I don't want it for anything else.
Donald Trump has always wanted to take control of Greenland. Addressing world leaders in Davos, he once again explained how crucial the Arctic island is to US national security.
Greenland is a vast, almost entirely uninhabited and undeveloped territory, sitting undefended in a key strategic location between the United States, Russia, and China. That's exactly where it is, right smack in the middle.
But for the first time, he ruled out force to acquire Greenland.
I don't have to use force. I don't want to use force. I won't use force. All the United States is asking for is a place called Greenland.
His surprise statement didn't really convince Greenlanders. People in the streets of the capital Nuuk remain suspicious of President Trump's intentions.
Jeg ikke tror på det. Fordi han ændrer mening hele tiden. Han siger noget nyt hele tiden. Så jeg tror ikke på noget, han siger. Det tror jeg ikke, der er så mange, der tror på, man er bekymret for.
The US president has pledged to deliver by the end of his term the most advanced missile defense system called the Golden Dome. It would counter any aerial threats like ballistic or cruise missiles. Trump argues Greenland would play a vital part. Some experts disagree.
D'un point de vue en fait purement technique, installer des infrastructures pour ce dôme d'or au Groenland n'aurait aucun bénéfice majeur compte tenu de tout ce que Donald Trump a déjà promis ou envisagé d'installer en Europe ou sur le continent nord-américain lui-même. Le Groenland ici n'apporterait rien de significativement intéressant si ce n'est une dimension symbolique que le Groenland participe à ce dôme d'or.
And yet, the location is strategic. It's on the shortest route for any potential missiles fired from Russia targeting the US. Washington has been eyeing Greenland for a very long time. Just after World War II, US President Truman offered $100 million in gold to buy the Arctic island. Denmark refused, but signed an agreement in 1951 to grant sweeping military access to its US ally. But Trump, the former property tycoon turned president, wants the land. Some die-hard MAGA fans are trying to justify the move.
You're going to fight the Americans for Greenland? You're definitely not doing okay? Just stop the LARP. If you realized what was going on, you'd understand why the United States wants this. China tried to buy a military base in 2018, which is why this happened the first time, right? Trump, in his first term, was obviously irritated with that.
The video sparked angry responses. One came from a Danish Conservative member of parliament. Rasmus Jarlov is chairman of Denmark's Defence Committee. He can't understand why strong friends and allies would want to fight each other.
The Americans already have access to Greenland. Annexing Greenland is not going to give them anything that they don't already have, where they have full military access. They can deploy as many troops, they can have as many bases as they want. They used to have about 30 bases, and they only have one today. They've completely downscaled their presence, but if they want to upscale it again, the door is wide open.
Greenlanders also wonder what more Trump wants from them.
Hvis vi nu tror ham, Biduf fik tullet op, han har dem deroppe, det skal man være glad for.
Another reason sometimes mentioned is that with climate change, sea ice in the Arctic region is melting, meaning new sea routes could appear in the future. But many experts believe there would be serious challenges.
Si le changement climatique fait fondre la glace, il ne la fait pas fondre très rapidement, d'une part, et d'autre part, il y a des événements climatiques extrêmes qui se développent, qui font qu'on peut avoir des événements d'intensité majeure qui compliquent la navigation.
Donald Trump prefers to emphasize on the strategic importance of Greenland.
If we don't do it, Russia or China will take over Greenland, and we're not going to have Russia or China as a neighbor.
The reason why many are attracted to Greenland might well lie below the surface. It's home to large, untapped reserves of minerals and oil. The European Commission stated in 2023 that 25 out of the 34 minerals deemed critical raw materials are found in the Arctic island. It's a place rich in all kinds of natural resources.
On va retrouver du zinc, on va retrouver du nickel, on va retrouver de l'or, on va retrouver de l'anorthosite, on va retrouver même des rubis, des pierres précieuses. Bref, il y a énormément de métaux.
Greenland's natural resources could be used in the tech and AI industries, meaning huge revenue and business. Owners of the Kvaneshville site hope it becomes the largest producer of rare earth minerals in the West.
This is the area for the mine, and it has a capacity to run for over 100 years.
Sven Hardenberg is banking on impressive profits.
Just on royalties alone, it has been calculated that the project will generate like $5.5 billion.
The US didn't always capitalize on their strong ties with Greenland to invest here.
Il y a eu un vide stratégique dans les années 2010 dont la Chine a bénéficié, notamment à travers ce secteur minier, mais aussi dans le secteur des télécommunications, par exemple. Et dans ce contexte-là, c'est en 2018 que les États-Unis d'un côté et le Danemark de l'autre se sont, entre guillemets, réveillés et ont dit « Mais oh là là, ce vide stratégique, on a ouvert la porte beaucoup trop grande aux Chinois. Et là, il faut qu'on réagisse. »
The director for the Center for Arctic Security and Resilience believes the US can't afford to miss out on opportunities in Greenland.
We have no choice. Rare earths are the future of innovation in defense technology. There is no choice. It doesn't matter what the cost is. Not investing, no matter where and how much it costs, is basically the competitive death of the United States.
While Greenlanders are well aware of the mineral riches lying underground, some have protested against granting permits for mining. They are keen to protect their land and the environment.
Il y a effectivement le droit de l'environnement qui est beaucoup plus respecté aujourd'hui au Groenland et qui ne passe pas forcément après les intérêts économiques. Dans le sud de l'île, il y a un gisement de Kvanefjell qui est exploité par une entreprise qui a eu l'accord de l'exploitation de l'uranium, puisque dans ce gisement, les terres rares sont mêlées à l'uranium, donc on ne peut pas exploiter les unes sans l'autre. Et cette entreprise est maintenant à l'arrêt parce que justement le gouvernement a changé sa position et a rétabli le moratoire sur l'exploitation de l'uranium.
Donald Trump, on the other hand, thinks business should come first.
You don't defend leases the same way. You have to own it.
Polls last year showed 85% of Greenlanders were opposed to joining the US. And in recent weeks, they decided to voice their opposition more strongly than ever. On January 17th, demonstrations took place in the Danish capital, Copenhagen, but also in Nuuk. It was the largest protest ever held in Greenland.
Of course we are not for sale. We are a free people. We have always been a free people.
Nadja Nathanielsen, the Minister for Natural Resources, was on the streets with friends and fellow Greenlanders, all very concerned.
We have always welcomed collaboration with the outside world and with the US, and now we are talked about being occupied or bought. It is unacceptable and it affects the people of Greenland.
Cécile Pelodex is a historian and specialist of the Arctic. She lived in Greenland and has been visiting the island regularly for the past 15 years. She thinks the protests can help convince US voters to put pressure on Trump.
C'est un signal fort qui est envoyé aussi à la population américaine et aux représentants du Congrès américain Les propositions de Trump sont illégales. On ne devrait jamais se lasser de répéter la force du droit international.
According to a recent poll, only 1 in 5 Americans support Trump's efforts to acquire Greenland. Donald Trump's desire to take over have brought Greenland and Denmark closer together, despite a troubled history between the two. The Danes began colonizing the Arctic island in the 18th century and have been criticized for how they treated the local population. In August, Copenhagen issued a long-awaited apology for forcibly prescribing birth control to Greenlandic women in the 1960s and 70s. While Greenland has obtained more autonomy over the years, most parties call for independence in the future. But the current international turmoil is having an impact on voters' views.
Sudaqatigiinnissarpu piffissasiullaq pingaartippaqa taan ingerlatiinaqallassаа kisian siunartarivara uanga kalaallitunaan.
I really look forward to that. I really like to be independent, but I think it's we should wait. Not at this moment. Not today.
When the Danish and Greenlandic prime ministers stood side by side for a press conference, the message was clear.
Og hvis vi skal vælge mellem USA og Danmark her og nu, så vælger vi Danmark.
I don't know who he is, don't know anything about him, but that's going to be a big problem for him.
The United States is considered to have the best army in the world, but the Arctic isn't like other places. Based in Alaska, US Army veteran Troy Buffard knows Greenland well.
I've been to many regions around the world. I've worked with Foreign Legion and all kinds of folks, and exposure to the environment is sort of something we always think about. In the Arctic, however, it will kill you.
Denmark might be a small European country, but it has valuable knowledge and expertise.
I think the United States needs to be really careful about this. The Arctic, Greenland, is not a place we're ready to operate in. We do not have the capabilities. The only way a true victory happens is when you take and hold land. That takes land forces. You can't do that from a submarine. You can't do that from the Air Force. Right? So right now, who's operating on the land? Denmark, right? The Prime Minister of Denmark said it himself. The U.S. forces wouldn't last a week in the Arctic. And he's right, right? The most elite operators in the Arctic by far are the Danish forces.
US President Trump doesn't seem to think that Denmark has the means to protect Greenland.
You know what Denmark did recently to boost up security in Greenland? They added one more dog sled. It's true. They thought that was a great move.
The US president called for more military presence, and Copenhagen stepped up efforts. In October 2025, Denmark announced an extra 3.5 billion euros in military spending for the Arctic, notably to purchase 2 vessels and build a new command headquarters in Nuuk. Its European allies also took part in January in the Danish-led joint exercises called Operation Arctic Endurance, a clear show of support.
Ce que le Danemark a montré en 5 jours, c'était qu'il était capable de repositionner au Groenland 2 fois plus de troupes que ce que les Américains ont aujourd'hui sur le territoire. Et ils ont pu montrer en 5 jours qu'ils étaient capables de venir maîtriser, contrôler, grosso modo, les 7 points stratégiques du Groenland qu'il faut contrôler si vous voulez contrôler le territoire.
Tensions between the US and its NATO allies have rarely run so high. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer stressed the importance of trust.
Alliances endure because they're built on respect and partnership, not pressure.
By calling for a takeover of Greenland, President Trump has damaged unity within NATO. Rivals are carefully looking at events unfolding.
What I do know is China and Russia would absolutely love this, because they know Greenland would be wide open and vulnerable for whatever purposes they want. So I'm hoping that all of this is just business bluster and we get through it, with a final negotiation and something that appeases the White House.
Trump faces stiff opposition, even at home. Some Republicans refuse to back him, while the opposition is appalled. One of them is the Democrat and California Governor, Gavin Newsom.
The Europeans should decide for themselves what to do, but one thing they can't do is what they've been doing. I can't take this complicity. People rolling over. I should have brought a bunch of knee pads for all the world leaders. This is diplomacy with Donald Trump. He's a T-Rex. You mate with him or he devours you.
The future of the European Union might well be at stake.
On pourrait presque dire que c'est l'avenir de l'Union européenne qui se joue. Parce que nous sommes sur le front Est menacés par la Russie. Et maintenant, du côté de notre allié le plus solide, les États-Unis, nous sommes aussi menacés. Les États-Unis veulent défaire l'Union européenne. Ce qui se passe au Groenland, c'est très important parce que il faut absolument mettre des limites au président Trump. C'est aussi l'avenir de la démocratie qui est en jeu, d'une certaine façon.
By claiming he will take control of Greenland, one way or another, President Donald Trump has shocked European nations. Traditional allies of the US who now know they can't rule out any possibility and have to be prepared for anything.